Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Chipod Ironicast. This is your January 2016 edition. How are y'all feeling? How are you feeling?
I was gonna say pretty good, but one of my cats got put to sleep, so
not particularly
not
good.
great. She was 15. She had a good run.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
When my dog got put down, oh god.
Oh yeah. That was a while ago.
It was just after Christmas break my freshman year of college. Like, I was back at school for like a week or two. Oh.
Yeah, the little tripod buddy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him. Other than that, I'm okay. This weekend does have one good note in that it wasn't until I was finishing up work yesterday that I learned that, hey, Columbus Day is a company holiday, so I have Monday off, and I didn't even know it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I do not have Monday off. I have less to do on Monday.
Well, that's good, at least.
Because of the nature of my job. And some of the places that are closed, but I still got to go.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We have a full docket ahead of us. We have the Watch Dogs retrospective. We have some hot election news. And we're going to wrap things up with, just like our first episode, a lightning round. Instead of the usual Q&A, we're going to be answering as many questions from our live studio audience as we can. I said this before we started, but I'll just say it for everybody who's listening to this afterwards. 12 months out of the year, we record this in front of a live studio audience. 11 of those months, it's restricted to Patreon backers at a certain level. This is the 12th. This is the Everybody Pile in the Pool special, which I think is going to be a January tradition.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People are, again, correcting us. Isn't it MLK Day?
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck, maybe it is.
Yeah.
I probably looked it up and it was like Columbus Day or whatever.
It totally is. January is
I'm
Martin
not in
Luther
a great
King
state
Day.
of mind.
Fun fact, Martin Luther King Day, the only national holiday named for a U.S. citizen.
Yeah?
Ever since we combined Washington's birthday into President's Day, it's true.
Yeah. Huh.
Columbus Day is the only other national holiday named for a person. So we have one named for a U.S. citizen and one for I guess he's technically a foreigner. There wasn't a U.S. to be a citizen of.
Yeah.
So we will be taking questions in lightning round format from our fact-checking department here. But first, let's get to Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
It's over for us. By the time most people listen to this, the last video will be up, correct? Probably?
Yeah.
Odds are?
I was originally aiming for the final update of Watch Dogs to come up today, but I'm still in the middle of it. The actual episode of Watch Dogs is finished, but there's a bunch of other little things that are going up with that update too.
There's always a special ending, including the third history video, right?
Yeah, the third history video is being worked on right now. There's a special ending for the LP.
There's the one I wanted to do, but had to do them in chronological order.
Yeah, and then there's one other video I'm working on. It's a really little thing, but I think it'll be really good.
I'm glad. I'm excited. So do we want to announce the thing to come after? The Let's Play to come after?
I don't. Maybe keep it secret, just because it's the ending that little.
Because it's part of the Watch Dogs ending, sure. Yeah. But between now and then, we have some other stuff.
Yeah. So everybody's been wondering about the rest of Drunk Metal Gear history. That's coming up next. That's the next thing, I suppose. Because Watch Dogs, for me, working on it, like all the editing, felt like it was starting to drag for a while, just because the audio on Watch Dogs is terrible and it takes a lot longer to balance all that shit. I wanted to focus on just Watch Dogs, get it done, then focus on Drunk Metal Gear, get that done, and then after that, we will have the fight, which isn't a full Let's Play. It's going to be just 2 videos, but trust me, that second video is something.
The first video is something, too.
The first video is a good something, too, but that second one, man.
Oh, God.
I was looking over the commentary again, and holy shit.
I said this when we recorded it back in August, my word.
Yeah.
But it's the best thing we've done in years. It might be the best thing we've ever done. I don't know. Y'all can be the judge of that, but I'm so proud of that. Those videos.
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking happy with it right now.
So keep your eyes open for after we're finally delivered from Watch Dogs. You'll be seeing that catch up, and then a to be announced actual LP.
I was just thinking about this too, because last year around this time was when the Duck Dynasty LP started, which means it's been basically a full year since we did a Let's Play of a good video game. Because the Wonderful 101 ended like right around this time last year, and then
yeah, that's true.
And then it was Duck Dynasty, and then fucking Watch Dogs.
But anyway, Watch Dogs is, as I'm sure our listeners are likely to know, an open world Ubisoft game that came out, 2013, 2014?
It was 2014. God, I actually don't remember.
Oh, yeah, because it came out in 2014 in the near future, but the events take place in 2013.
Yeah.
The first confounding mistake of Watch Dogs. And while everything works, and some bits of it are fun to do, it's just aggressively generic, and it wears you down, just the grind of getting through the most middle-of-the-road milquetoast game design decisions with no real flavor to it.
I will say, so there were a couple different reasons we decided to do Watch Dogs. One was because, like, hey, it takes place in Chicago. Chicago gets brought up a lot in all of our Let's Plays anyways.
I can't shut up.
It's a good reason to do this game just because of all the stuff we can say about Chicago. But also, we had never really done an open world game before, I guess. The closest thing would be No More Heroes.
Which the send-up of open worldiness, yes.
Yeah. And obviously we want to do the Phantom Pain someday. But I didn't want to do that without having any experience doing an open world thing. So
Red Dead Revolution has been kicking around in the to-do possibly pile.
Ever since like 2011 or whenever it came out, I was like, maybe I'll LP Red Dead Redemption, but it hasn't happened yet. But that's a good open world game, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see how difficult it would be compared to the mostly linear games we do. And yeah, it had a lot of...
It was a learning experience from that perspective.
The issue with open world games is, because the player can just fuck off and do whatever they want forever, it also makes editing it hard, because with linear games, you basically just play through it and cut it up into chunks where it makes sense, where it starts and stops every video. And with Watch Dogs, I had to think of what happened later in the game and try and plan around what order I play stuff so that it doesn't drag too hard.
Yeah.
There's still a couple episodes where it drags, though. So that also kind of forced me to try and get creative in any way possible with the gameplay, so it wouldn't just be, fuck, he's just getting in a car and driving, and then he's going into bullet time, and God. I had to try and stack cars on top of things.
It's an LP with phases, it really is. Because if you start from the start, it's like, oh, well, this is a game that has some good ideas and some bad ideas, and that's interesting to talk about, and every video ends with a new fun glitch. And then, like, I don't know, it's the 5 stages of boring game as we go through it.
There's a point in that LP, at least where I was recording the gameplay, where it was like, I ran out of funny glitches to do, essentially. Like, I had basically found every dumb thing you could do, barring any extreme things that you don't know how to trigger reliably. Like, maybe something really fucking crazy could happen, but there's no way you know how to make it happen. So you just have to hope you get lucky. Lucky Quinn.
Wait, which one's he? Anyway, one thing that we did mention was the Chicago history videos. Third one's coming out. Really happy about that, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. I'm sorry there weren't more. I apologize to all of you.
I mean, hey, you could still, if you wanted more, we could just do it separate Watch Dogs too. What the hell?
Here's an idea I had. Why don't we give it to the listeners? Here's a choice between 3 topics. Why don't they get to pick which one becomes next month's middle segment?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Okay. If you like the one that's about to come up and I wonder how that would turn out 40 years later. Option A is the 1933 Chicago World's Fair, the Century of Progress exhibition. If you really like the Untouchables, and want to know, well, basically the most famous bit of Chicago history, at least in pop culture, option B is like gangland, prohibition, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to find out the one I really wanted to do, because this started as an idea for a 4-part series, and then I'd let people just like tell me what they wanted to hear. Right. It was Founding Fire Fair, and part 4 is your option C, 1968. So the Democratic Convention, the riots, Mayor Daley the First, all that sort of stuff.
Oh man, that sounds like a really good one.
Mm-hmm. So once this goes live, I'll be putting up a poll. Yeah. So I'm not just asking the live studio audience, though I am looking at you. I'm looking at you. But feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or any other social media. And yeah, I'll be putting up a poll when this is live for everybody to have some.
All right, cool.
Mm-hmm. But I'm very happy about how the first 2 turned out, and I'm sure I'll enjoy the third.
Yeah, I really like making those too. Because I don't have a chance to make that style thing too often, so it's nice to not forget how After Effects works.
So let's see. Let's talk about how the process works. It's a divided labor. So I came up with the topics that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, I just shared a few more of them with you. Did my research, wrote the scripts, recorded myself, and then I sent that recording along with the script and a whole bunch of stock photos that I found, or historical photos that I found. Thank you, Wiki Commons. And other things like, okay, in this line, I was thinking of a sight gag that works like this, or a sound gag that works like that, all sorts of annotations. And I ship that off to you. And then you throw out half of it because they're bad ideas and make something that works happen.
I don't know. I think I pretty much used just about all your ideas. I get the script. I'm very thankful that I don't know if you record multiple takes or if you just do one really good one, but I basically had to do no audio editing aside from cleaning it up.
My recording process is one big take, but I repeat myself a lot.
Okay.
And then I trim down the phrases I like best. Because I would usually trip over my words. Like if I had an example of a sentence, I'd be like, nope, I screwed up the last word. Back to the beginning.
But yeah, just having it all like that and just like one good take helps out a ton. Sometimes I move your commentary around just a little bit for timing's sake, so an animation can run a little bit longer or something like that. But yeah, I just take the notes. On my end, I basically do this proxy video thing. So I have the audio commentary, and then every time I just listen to the audio multiple times. And I have just green and red screens just for the full video. It's just either red or green, and I just listen to it. And when I think, the video is going to switch to the next slide or next image, for timing's sake, the screen changes from red to green, and it just alternates between that. So then I can just throw into After Effects, which you can't really listen to the audio in that, and that just gives me the idea of when I should be doing my timing. I usually have to find more images and stuff than what you send me, just because I want to keep it interesting enough so it's not just one image up for too long, or maybe there's more images of the thing you're talking about, and stuff like the video clips, like the Untouchables for the last one and all that. And yeah, after that, I usually run it by you. And so far, so good. I haven't had to make any. Well, I had to make one edit in the first one, I think, because I had 2 of the images swapped around or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty clean process. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish there were more, because I think the first two are just laying foundation for the stuff that could have come later.
Mm.
And I kind of also wish that a full third of it wasn't the fire, because there's nothing funny about a fire that leaves a third of the city homeless.
Yeah.
Like, there's no room for jokes in there.
Yeah.
But I'm still proud of the information in the presentation, but it brings down the average jokes per minute quite a bit.
Yeah.
But in any case, I'm still very proud of those.
Yeah, I'm really happy with those so far, and I'm excited to finish up the third one and make more of them if people want to keep seeing them.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to end just because Watch Dogs ends.
That's true.
This is those are better than Watch Dogs anyways. So I don't think they've run their course yet like Watch Dogs did 10 videos ago.
So yeah, while I'm already reaching out to people to see which one they want to hear as a podcast segment, if you want them to still be videos, just say that instead, and we'll just make a few. Yeah. And
totally.
When I bring up the 33 World's Fair, I was already planning on that to be a podcast episode, because I don't think it has the... After you've seen the Columbian exhibition, the Century of Progress exhibition just doesn't measure up visually or really in anything, even though it has interesting stories attached. So
yeah. Mr. Tato asking, how many other games about Chicago are there?
Oh gosh,
I don't actually really know.
I don't know. I know there's not a lot about Boston, although that's changed recently with Fallout 4 and a third of The Last of Us, or a certain portion of The Last of Us.
Yeah, a big chunk of The Last of Us.
Chicago, gosh. No, I mean, it's usually just New York and New York facsimiles.
Yeah.
California and California facsimiles.
Yeah.
Generic any city USA.
I honestly really want some kind of open world style thing that takes place in some fucking bumpkin Midwestern place.
Red Dead Redemption 150 years later.
Yeah, you never fucking see those environments in games ever, basically.
Oh man, Fargo the game?
Yeah, Fargo the game.
Oh god, Fargo, the TV series, the film as well, but what recently sticks in my mind is the show. Got such incredible photography of the desolate, empty flatness of Minnesota. I love it. But Michael Jordan at the Windy City. Good job. Thank you.
Yes. Even though the final Watch Dogs update hasn't gone up yet, I feel even if we talk about how we feel about that whole game, there's no real way to spoil what happens in the final episode, because it doesn't really matter to the whole that much.
It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. If you're just following along with us and you're worried about spoilers, the only thing that changes is that Dead Set comes back for a little bit, and then they go away again.
Yeah. Which I suppose isn't that surprising, considering what their role in the game was already. But
let's talk about Aiden Pierce.
Aiden
Pierce is probably the least interesting protagonist of a video game.
Yeah. And it does, some people have written articles and all that about how Aiden Pierce is supposed to be like the antithesis to the video game protagonist. You're not supposed to like him. He's supposed to be like this guy who's cool, but actually he's a terrible person and all that.
And that's true. I mean...
Yeah, it is true.
But you know what? A lot of other things are true as well, and they don't mix. They don't fit.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things in the game separate from the main cutscene. Well, even in the main cutscenes, but a lot of supporting systems worked on by other parts of the team and all that stress that Aiden is cool, or that him being vigilante is cool, like he's Batman, which kind of totally goes against what Aiden Pierce is or was attempted to be written as.
Aiden Pierce as, I guess, critique, or maybe as a statement on open world protagonists is something. This is something that got mentioned in a recent video that the initial trailer led us to believe.
Yeah,
and it's also something that seems to have had the most development put in it, because it gets stronger in the last few acts.
Yeah, it does.
It makes it seem like the other competing Aidens weren't finished in time because they couldn't come up with an ending for those other Aidens. They had to go back to Aiden is Aiden made his bed and he must lie in it, and he's too broken to realize that.
Yeah. It just reminds me that there's another Ubisoft game that kind of does a similar sort of thing, and that's Far Cry 3. People bring it up a fair amount, but there's an article out there. I can't remember what website interviewed the writer of Far Cry 3, but he's trying to explain and defend his plot as being like this big satire of 20-something white dudes and video game power fantasies. But when you play through the whole game, it doesn't... There are parts where it's like, okay, yeah, the way it's written there, that totally fits in with it. But so much of it doesn't feel like that at all. And also the quality of the actual writing is embarrassing, such as a part and the climax at the end of the game where you can choose two different things, and depending what you do, your protagonist may just look down at his hands and go, "My God, what have I done?" That's another game that game you can tell didn't have nearly as many like rewrites or anything as like Watch Dogs, but I do love clear.
Every moment in Watch Dogs where you fuck someone over and in some places kill them. Yeah. And then later they call you on the phone and say, "I know what's up, Aiden. You're really a good guy."
Yeah, that bed bug thing. I honestly wonder if that was like a play test or a focus test thing where like, I feel bad that bed bug's dead. And instead of leaving that impact in the story of I just got this guy who's just mixed up in the wrong crowd killed, let's just make sure that he just calls and says like, "Yeah, I went to a farm up north. I'm fine. I went to a big place where all the bed bugs can run free."
Yeah. Or when you first meet Clara and your reaction is to choke her out.
Yeah.
And she reacts pretty normally to that. And then, oh, wait, no, they have to be friends. And so she calls you up on the phone. Is like, "Yeah, but I understand you were just posturing."
Yeah.
We're cool. I know what's up.
It felt so super weird. And I don't know. There are other games I've been playing or replaying recently where you can see similar style things happening, including the Phantom Pain. Though they feel less like story changes and more like we needed this extra line of dialogue in a cutscene. But Kiefer Sutherland wasn't available for any more facial motion capture, so let's make this cutscene first person so that we don't have to animate his face and he can just do the VO real quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in the end, Aiden really just comes together in a really unsatisfying way. I'm going to repeat myself. If they stuck with any one Aiden, it would be better. And I think if they stuck with Aiden is the logical extent of an open world protagonist who gets everyone around him in danger or dead, but he's too stupid to realize it, that could have worked. That could have been interesting. Yeah. It would have been fun to see a AAA publisher betting the house on feeding that critical statement to their core audience. And I think interesting sparks would have come out, but it didn't. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, it's a shame. I said it in a previous update, but because Watch Dogs sold well. It performed well. It sold a lot of copies and all that. So they're obviously going to make a second one, but it still hasn't been announced yet, this is a larger gap of time than normal for Ubisoft sequels, especially Assassin's Creed. Which, if they're,
do credible leaks count as an announcement? Because there are apparently credible leaks.
Yeah, there are credible leaks. Like, it's not surprising that it's being worked on, but I'm betting they're keeping quiet and working on it for longer so they can do like an Assassin's Creed 2, where the first one sold well, but critically was not super well received, especially from just, fans on the internet and not reviewers. And 2 was a big improvement. The protagonist was a lot more likable. There is a lot more gameplay things to do that were a lot better than what you did in the first one. So I'm betting that Watch Dogs 2 will be in the same universe as 1, but you will play as somebody else that is not Aiden Pierce.
Hey, it's a step up already.
I am betting Aiden Pierce might still be a part of the story, but he'll be dead or you'll kill him. Something like that.
The
Either
rich
that, or he'll
Aiden
be
Pierce
like
lore.
he'll be, or the game will be further in the future, and Aiden Pierce will be a grandpa who teaches you how to hack and stuff, and then he dies in like the third act of the story or something like that. He'll be your mentor, and they'll rate him way differently because he's old enough that he's changed and all this shit. He'll just be like a weird hermit.
I was thinking about what Watch Dogs 2 would be before that leak came out, and I thought, oh, it's definitely going to be San Francisco. And guess what?
Yeah.
If that leak is
San
credible,
Francisco.
I'm right.
There's also that other quote-unquote leak/rumor right now that claims that Beyond Good and Evil 2 was being play tested at Ubisoft last summer. Oh God, not again.
What if they're the same game? What if you play as Jade in San Francisco and she's a hacktivist?
Oh my God, she's a hacktivist. She has to
free Uncle Paige from the animal testing facility.
Yeah. Oh man. You get Paige's fart power jet boots after he dies.
I mean, all the writing problems would be excusable if the missions were fun to play and not the same handful recycled. Like they just kept drawing, shoot all the bad guys, trail someone in a car out of a hat.
Yeah, it's even when you have really basic mission types like that, they can still be good and fun if there's enough different ways to do them. Like Metal Gear Solid 5. Eventually, the missions can start to feel repetitive once you get to the end game stuff, and there's all the extra missions, and it can just wear on you. But for the majority of the game, basically until you're done with most of the story, like even though there's like 5 or 6 different mission objectives that get used a lot in the Phantom Pain, the amount of ways you can do them and the core gameplay is so good that you don't notice, or even if you do notice, you're not bothered by that for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And like by the time you're like, ugh, I'm sick of these mission objectives, like you've sunk 100 hours into it at that point.
Because you keep having more toys to play with instead of just pipe bomb.
Yeah, and
grenade launcher.
Yeah, and the map design, like there are totally things in Phantom Pain that's like, okay, these are really good, but like you can make pretty much any item in that game be really good if you know how to use it right. And like the openness of the maps and all of that, like I'm replaying the game during my lunch breaks at work right now, just so I can find as many different ways to do each mission as possible from a completely clean run, so I can practice for the LP way down the road.
I usually just eat lunch, but okay. I mean, do what you want.
Yeah, and it's even some of the most basic missions, I have found about 8 ways to do them that are noticeably different from each other. So, Aiden just needs to be able to do more than take cover, shoot in slow-mo, baton somebody, and hold square to make something happen. Like that's really his entire abilities, all of his abilities.
Okay, I'm going to make some predictions about Watch Dogs 2 right now.
Okay.
It will be San Francisco.
Okay.
You will play as... now, see, I think Clara would have been the perfect protagonist, but she's dead.
Yeah.
So I was thinking you'd play as some punk hacker woman.
Mm-hmm.
But they might not, because then you'd just be Clara again, but not dead.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure. But you're not... It will not be a bearded, gruff man in his 30s. I'm saying that right now. Right.
They already kind of try to take that criticism they got about when they said that there were no women in Assassin's Creed because... no playable women because it'd be too hard to animate or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was something like that. So then one of the 2 playable characters in the newest one is a woman.
Yeah, they're
at some
fraternal
point they're gonna,
twins.
At some point they're just going to go like, okay, fine. Here's the game where you play as a woman and a woman only. And maybe Watch Dogs 2 will be that.
You know, it's been a rough year for me and dead women named Clara. All right, I'm just going to say.
Oh no.
Oh no. I liked one of them.
Yeah.
The one that's not French.
Yeah.
Let's. Do you have any other predictions? I think it'll be like It'll be more explicitly near future. While it was 2014 but future, it'll be like actual 2020 something.
Yeah, they're gonna make it like 2020 or 2025 or something like that. They'll try and make it a little more futuristic. I wouldn't be surprised if they attempt to make the hacking more in depth or something to make it more interesting, and if they try to make missions that are more open ended. Not all of them, but just try and sprinkle more. Maybe more like the modern Deus Ex games, where, you know, there's like one way that a lot of people are probably just going to play the mission, but it's like, look, we have vents to crawl through, and like, look, you can talk to this guy and get through here without shooting anybody, and they'll just sprinkle that stuff through.
We can hope.
I hope so. Oh, also, this reminds me, so we aren't doing... The LP isn't continuing into the DLC campaign, where you play as T-Bone. However, I was going to say I might put it up for vote, but I'm going to guess most people would vote for it anyways, so maybe it'll be a separate thing from the streams where people vote for what I play, but I will at some point stream just playing through the T-Bone campaign, because I've seen some of the cutscenes, and they're not bad.
Yeah.
It's T-Bone, and Tobias is like one of the main characters in it as well. He's like T-Bone's friend.
Oh, that's nice. Tobias needs some friends.
I saw like a cutscene where they're eating a hamburger together, and it was actually all right. Tobias is trying to convince T-Bone that he should stop being vegan or vegetarian, whatever, and that, trust me, man, this burger is good, even though it's full of chemicals. He eats it, and he's way into the burger.
Nice.
And it's actually decent. So there you go. You should have just played as T-Bone.
Don't be spoiling. This
is a hamburger.
If you were to fix Watch Dogs, what would you do? If you could have been a fly on the wall, Ubisoft 2012, 2013, Watch Dogs development cycle.
And I could just magically make it better.
Yeah, you get like one decision or whatever. What do you say?
Oh God. Make it. I mean, the most obvious one was like, make the writing better. But if I couldn't do that and I had to be more specific, I would say, turn it into an adventure game that isn't open world, but not straight linear either. Like make a hub world or something.
Okay.
You can go back to previous areas and stuff. Like Batman Arkham Asylum. That wasn't, you know, you can go back and forth between that. It's a linear thing, but there are areas to go back to. There's hub worlds. You could go back to Aiden's apartment or hideout and do stuff there and yada yada. I don't know. If it was shorter or more focused, even the same plot the game had right now, if it was condensed so something actually happened each mission, even that would be a significant improvement.
That would be an incredible change.
If each mission had a purpose and something happened there, even if it was basically the exact same story, it would still be more satisfying just because it's condensed and it doesn't feel like it's stringing you on and just like delaying having anything important happen.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. If I had that option, I would get all of the writers in a room, and I would find one thing in the script and be like, okay, this is our tone. This is our central point.
Yeah.
And the thing I would pick, I'm serious, is the Papa Seaman Hands invasion.
What?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you would pick for the tone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because where it would be... I mean, I guess it's sort of old school Duke Nukem, but it's really a tone that's not very common. That sort of mix of, is it funny? How dark does a joke go before it's not funny? It's sort of in a liminal state, and it plays with a lot of different things. It's like, this is a ridiculous person, but you're still crowding in on his privacy. You can laugh at him, but there's a kid being neglected. There's space to explore there, and it's a space that doesn't get a lot of attention.
Okay.
And you definitely stand out. And the fact that they have to be unified to something, just being unified to anything is a good start.
What if Aiden Pierce was voiced by John St. John? Nick, he's never coming back. You just text everybody, I have balls of steel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Duke Nukem soundboard on your phone.
So, if anybody was really interested in Watch Dogs and they felt left down by it for one way or another, is there anything you'd suggest? I would tell them to watch Mr. Robot. Because it does have a shitty, unlikable protagonist, but he's aware of it, and he's torn between trying to get better and just falling apart deeper into it.
Okay.
And it's a lot of fun to watch.
I haven't watched that yet, but I've been meaning to.
You should check it out.
I just finished watching One Punch Man, which is nothing like Watch Dogs.
It is nothing like Watch Dogs at all.
But it's pretty good. Have you watched Tiger and Bunny? You might like One Punch Man.
All right.
It's a similar thing, full of a company that is full of like registered superheroes that are ranked by popularity, but also their strength.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good. More jokey than Tiger and Bunny, for sure.
Yeah, cool. What would you suggest people check out if they had an itch and Watch Dogs did not scratch it? Is it One Punch Man? Just go completely different. No, that is a bad itch. Scratch something else.
Something similar to Watch Dogs, but God, I'm not actually sure. I would just say like, hey, do you want some of this kind of cyberpunk, but it's good? Just go play Snatcher. It's nothing like Watch Dogs at all, but
go play Snatcher, everybody.
Go play Snatcher. Maybe Read Only Memories. I'm not sure because I haven't really played it myself yet, but I've heard some people saying they like it, and that's like a newer thing. That's basically just it really like Snatcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just go with Snatcher.
So I guess that's.
Some people are also recommending Person of Interest.
Sure, why not?
All right. I heard some people draw parallels to that with this game, but I haven't seen Person of Interest either.
As far as CBS procedurals go, I don't think you'll find a better one.
Okay.
I mean, unless is Elementary good? A writer I really like is making his first US TV script, and it's for Elementary. So I'm going to watch one episode in the near future.
All right. Actually, I just watched Hackers. There you go.
There you go.
Hacked Planet.
Hackers. So I guess that's Watch Dogs. We had a certain amount of fun making it.
Yeah, okay. We mentioned this in the podcast where we just started the Watch Dogs LP.
Mm-hmm.
Do you regret doing Watch Dogs?
I wouldn't say I regret doing Watch Dogs. I regret doing Watch Dogs for so long.
Yeah, I played through the whole game not too long before we did the LP, or at least it was still pretty fresh, but I forgot how long Act 2 drags on.
Oh, it's forever.
If I could have done the LP differently, I would have burned through Act 2 so fast with like no fucking around between any of the missions. I would have saved that for Act 3 and 4. Oh well.
Oh well. So I hope you enjoyed watching it, and we're going to be doing other things very soon. And we all can be happy about that.
Yeah, the next actual big LP is games I promise are good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the ones further in the series. So there you go.
There you go. That brings us to our middle segment. And, it is an election.
It is, yeah.
So we should probably talk about the United States presidential election of 1800. So, yeah. What do you think about that?
Vote Trump.
Vote time-traveling Trump. But yeah, I thought we'd talk about this because it's probably one of the most important elections in American history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the first presidential election where power traded hands from one party to another. And so there was a peaceful transition, which is incredibly important. In fact, a lot of people measure the age of a democracy from that point. Because if no matter how many elections you have, if the same people win every time, eyebrows going to go up.
Yeah.
Right. So, and if you use that definition, the United States is the world's oldest democracy. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There are a lot of other bits of its legacy that are going to come out in the end and my conclusion, but just trust me.
Okay.
So let's set the stage. Adams and Pinckney are running on the Federalist ticket, while Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr are for the Democratic Republicans.
Right.
Which is not what they called themselves. They had no idea what to call themselves. Depending on the day, they were either the Democrats or the Republicans or the Anti-Federalists or the Jeffersonians or any of a number of other things. But historians, and therefore me, we're just going to go with Democratic Republicans to wrap up all that confusion. Now, the Democratic Republicans were pretty new. They weren't really an organized party. In 1796, this was their coming out party for the party. The Federalists were the conservative party of the time. You can tell they were conservative because they were popular in northern cities, and they favored a large, strong federal government as opposed to states' rights. They had a abolitionist wing, so very clearly the conservative party. But I mean, the fact is they were the party of big business, so that's how that's determined.
Right.
The framers didn't want political parties. None of them did. However, when it came time to actually get elected to the government they created, they found out it's really, really hard to make groups of people who agree with each other not exist in a democracy. What were you thinking? So because they were so anti the idea of party, they made a presidential election system that does not work if parties exist, and then they were stuck with it. But in any case, the Federalists against the Democratic Republicans was a split between, wealth and industry versus the common people and the farmers, or Friends of England against Friends of France, aristocrats versus revolutionaries. Basically, Constitution doesn't say you can't do it versus Constitution doesn't say you can do it. That sort of thing.
Right.
But, of course, with everything in history, you need to go back a bit before for context. I don't think people got this as a joke. I'm going to go back to the Chicago history videos. Let me explain the first joke, okay?
All right.
The reason the video about the founding starts in the geological fossil record is a joke because everything needs historical context. And if you go back to, say, the first English and French settlers, then what about the Native Americans? If the Native Americans they met, what about the Native American nations who came before them, etc.? And so I decided, fuck it, we're starting in the Cenozoic. That was a joke. Thank you.
I got it.
But in any case, we're only going to go back one election. In 1796, 3 out of the 4 candidates were the same. It was Adams and Pinckney against Jefferson and Burr. But wait, it was Pinckney's younger brother. The 2 Pinckneys are different Pinckneys.
Oh.
So that's why it's 3 out of the 4. And Adams won, obviously, our second president. Is the first one to have really any parties because the Federalists had organized themselves. Meanwhile, Jefferson and Burr were just vaguely, were head of a vague anti-Federalist coalition. So Alexander Hamilton, who I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for me to talk about thanks to the events of last fall, and hey, the Tonys are coming, just you wait, was the architect of the Federalist Party. And so it fell on him once his party won for Adams, who he didn't especially like very much. Like, okay, if everybody votes for Adams and Pinckney, then they're going to tie. and this is going to go to the House of Representatives, and who knows what might happen. We don't want that. Let's get this over with today. So he goes around to everybody's back, and he's basically supposed to be telling people who to vote for so that Adams gets the most votes and becomes president. Pinckney gets the second most votes and becomes vice president.
Yeah.
What he's actually trying to make happen is the exact opposite.
Oh.
But that, because he did not want Adams to be president, thought he'd do a shitty job. So that came to light. In fact, it was probably the most open conspiracy in American history. Hamilton really did nothing to cover his tracks. So instead of Pinckney, Adams, and then Jefferson coming in third, we had Adams winning, Jefferson coming in second for presidential votes, which made him vice president.
Yeah.
And Pinckney got basically screwed over.
No.
It's really the first time that political opponents from different parties had been in an administration together, and last. It never happened again.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Adams-Hamilton rift continued forever, split the party, and they never ever recovered, and they both hated each other until the day they died.
Damn.
Hamilton only had about 5 years left in him, which makes Adams seem a lot worse from that view. In fact, about 10, 15 years after Hamilton died, Adams is writing a letter to somebody about how much better he is than Alexander Hamilton. It's like, hey, people said that without Hamilton around, the Federalist Party would fall apart and be useless. And where are those people now? Well, the fact is they were right. 1796 was the last time the Federalists won a presidential election. 1798 was the last time they had a majority in Congress. So take your head out of your ass, Adams. You actually did need him.
Oh, man.
But in any case, over the next 4 years, Adams was kind of a bad president. You might have heard of the Alien and Sedition Acts, or even the Quasi-War with France.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, basically, relations with France got really, really bad. And there was an undeclared war on the seas. And so in order to defend from this, Adams passed basically unconstitutional laws to restrict immigrants and have serious control over the press. Basically, newspapers weren't allowed to say anything negative about the president. Right. However, these laws did not mention anything about saying anything bad about the vice president. So you can still attack Jefferson under these acts. So basically that gave Jefferson a lot of ammunition to work with when it came time to have the rematch in 1800. Meanwhile, Hamilton continued to attack Adams because he wasn't very good. He tried to get the other Pinckney brother nominated as the Federalist candidate for president rather than for vice president. Part of this was he wrote a letter about how bad a second Adams terms would be for America and the Federalist Party. It wasn't supposed to be published, but it was, because that's the way things go. It was a really angrily, bitterly fought campaign. So, and I mean, it's a 72-page letter. Hamilton did nothing halfway. He's the guy who would really be happy if Twitter had 10,000 characters. In any case, the last page, though, out of 72. So 71 pages of fuck John Adams. Page 72, but at least he's better than Jefferson. So Adams is getting it from both sides. Meanwhile, Aaron Burr, a vice presidential candidate, was campaigning directly in New York, the first candidate to ever explicitly chase votes. Now, the way it worked back then was every state could choose their electors for the Electoral College however they wanted. 6 of them had direct votes, but a lot of them, some of them were appointed by governors, and New York, as well as several others, had theirs selected by the state legislature. So Burr knew that in order to get the election to go his way, he needed to get all of New York City's state representatives to be friends of his, so that they would flip the balance in the state legislature and send Democratic Republican electors for the presidential candidate.
Right.
That's exactly what he did. He made a list of every New York City voter and their political beliefs and distributed them to a team to go door to door and get out the vote. He invented the 24-hour campaign headquarters. He had cots in the back and was always ordering out food, so the place was running 24 hours for months.
Damn.
He visited social clubs and turned them into political action committees by promising patronage and getting them to distribute patronage all the way down, including the Tammany Hall Social Club. Oh. Which became the Tammany Hall political machine, the most infamous urban political machine in history. If you've heard of Boss Nast, or that's not his name. Thomas Nast was the political cartoonist that helped finally take them down in the 20th century. But yeah, it endured for over 100 years because Burr needed a get out the vote presence. And it worked. New York went to the Democratic Republicans. But meanwhile, one of the most contestuous arenas was the press. Every newspaper was an arm of one party or another. The Federalists had a majority of the newspapers, but the Democratic Republican newspapers, pretty vicious themselves.
Right.
So some of the attack ads, I guess if you could call them that, were pretty unique. Jefferson was called anti-biblical, and there were arguments that he should be disqualified for doubting the story of Noah's flood.
What?
Hey, it's true.
All right.
The Democratic Republicans were constantly connected to the bloody excesses of the French Revolution. They were called filthy Jacobins.
Damn.
Sometimes fear was stoked that Jefferson would free all the slaves, and that he had a secret, quote, Congo harem back home at Monticello.
Congo harem?
Oh, yeah.
Why can't attack ads be like that today? That's way more entertaining than what they are today.
Why aren't attack ads your grandma's racist email forwards? Well, basically everything that happened in the newspapers was today's Drudge Report and the things that would show up the next day on Snopes. So, so things like John Adams was going to marry his daughter into King George's family so he could establish an American monarchy with him as patriarch.
Oh my God.
Or that he was accused of shipping in English prostitutes for wild sex parties in his newly built White House. Yes, thank you, chat. It's bought Tweed. Tweed was the infamous head of Tammany Hall at its height and its fall. Thank you very much. So that's basically the situation as it went. Again, the Electoral College, which is today a weird relic that personally I don't think should exist, but at the time people thought it meant something. Hamilton's going to keep popping up every once in a while. He came up with the idea of the Electoral College. So fuck him on one count. In any case, the electoral vote came down 73 for Jefferson and 65 for Adams. Vice president became president. Just that simple, right? No. False. You see, Aaron Burr also had 73 votes. They fell prey to the same thing that Hamilton's scheming tried to prevent in 1796. So there was a tie, and the choice went to the House of Representatives. Every delegation of representatives would get to confer, and they'd get one vote per state for the 16 states. And so first to 9 would become president between Jefferson and Burr. Now, meanwhile, all the Federalists who supported the 3/5 clause are kicking themselves right now, because if slaves counted for 0 instead of 3/5 of a person when counting up population for representation, Adams would have won re-election there. So there's the difference right there. The 3/5 compromise gets you. It gets you Jefferson in 1800 instead of Adams. But again, the Democratic Republican candidates are tied at 73. And so the states get to decide via their House of Representatives. The thing is, the Federalists controlled the House 60-46 and 8 states to 7 with 1 tie. I think it was New Hampshire that was split 1-1 between the parties. Yeah. Now, most of the Federalists thought Burr would be better than Jefferson. I mean, at least he was a New Yorker instead of the head of their rival party, who's a Virginian plantation owner. Basically Satan to the whole Federalist cause. It took 35 ballots cast over a week, and everyone came down with Jefferson winning 8 states instead of 9. The whole time, though, Hamilton is sending letters to all these people trying to convince them that as much as he hates Jefferson, like, believe you guys, I'm with you, Jefferson is fucking Satan. But he's better than Burr. So on the 36th ballot, the lone representative of Delaware, Mr. Bayard, sends in a blank ballot. Georgia, their Federalist representatives also stand down, send in blank ballots. And so on the 36th vote, for the 36th tie-breaking vote for president, Jefferson wins 10 states out of 16 and becomes president. So that's how it finally shook out. Now, the aftermath, 12th Amendment came down pretty darn quick, establishing the Electoral College would vote twice. You'd submit 1 ballot for president and 1 vote for vice president. Instead of everybody gets 2 votes and winner gets the president, second place gets vice.
Yeah.
It clearly did not work. That deadlock will never happen again. The Burr-Hamilton rivalry got even worse. It was not the event that caused the duel, but, I mean...
Right.
It was a contributing factor. It was a later bit of feuding that was the final straw. Burr turned out to be a pretty successful vice president. As vice president, he presided over the Senate, and in that position heard the first impeachment case in U.S. history. By all accounts, he was fair and impartial and did everything he was supposed to do. Still, though, Jefferson hated his guts after this, because Burr was meanwhile trying to campaign and make friends among all those Federalist swing votes and trying to leapfrog him. After Burr was kicked out, in part for killing Alexander Hamilton, in Jefferson's second term of his presidency, he tried as hard as he could to get Burr tried for treason. Burr had a later scheme where he set up his own, basically, a militia state out in the Western Territories. I think what's current-day Ohio.
Okay.
And he tried to, spark a war so that he'd have his independent buffer zone and be able to declare, Burvania, basically.
Oh my god, he's solid as Snake.
Basically. It did not work out, and there was not enough clear evidence to try him for treason, despite Jefferson's burning desire to get him strung up on treason charges.
Yeah.
So ever since then, we have organized parties, voter lists, direct campaigning, party conventions, and party tickets. And it all dates back to 1800, specifically the Judas of American politics, Aaron Burr. Now, the whole chat from beginning to end have been people talking about Hamilton, the current musical.
Yes.
No lie, that is totally the inspiration for this.
Really?
I love the show. It's fantastic. It does everything I love from a historical fiction point of view.
Right.
Like, almost everything it gets wrong for dramatic license is unimportant, like the number of guests at Alexander Hamilton's wedding. Mm-hmm. Do not care if you fudge that. It works better with his friends than with all of his friends all fighting the war.
Yeah.
The one exception is the way they tell the story of the election of 1800. Really inaccurate, and that's one time I think it matters.
Okay.
So that's where this comes from, and if you thought this was interesting, it is only one chapter in how bug nuts crazy early America was. And, And a great way to get insight into that, and something I love about musicals in general, it borrows a lot from a lot of shows I love. Check out the soundtrack to Hamilton, the $10 founding father without a father who got a lot farther by working a lot harder, etc. I could go on.
That's great.
It's a damn good show. Do you have any questions, any thoughts? I've been rambling a lot.
How long has that musical been out?
It started this season. The original cast soundtrack came out. It dropped in October. Okay. Which is why I first pitched this as the middle topic in November.
Yeah. So is it still a Broadway thing right now?
Yep. Or, it is still running on Broadway currently. I predict best musical, best music, and featured actor for the guy that plays Burr. Possibly even actor for Lin-Manuel Miranda playing Hamilton. I haven't seen it, so I can't judge the direction, lighting, costumes. I mean, I've seen the costumes, etc. But definitely going to be a big year for them. Yeah, so there you go.
I kind of want to see that now, just because I finally, in the past year, started gaining appreciation for musicals. Especially after watching bad ones.
I'm going to a wedding this coming October in the middle of nowhere between Philadelphia and New York. And right now we're deciding, well, it's going to be a vacation. Do we spend the vacation part in Philadelphia or New York? And if it's New York, I'm buying Hamilton tickets.
Oh, yeah. New York's fun.
Also, they've decided their first non-New York show will be Chicago, and they're planning a 14 to 24 month engagement minimum.
Wow.
It's a fucking big show.
Wow. Good for them.
So there you go. There's a little bit of current musical history and important American election history. This is the closest we're going to get, probably, to talking about current American politics.
Yeah.
216 years.
Was the Burr-Hamilton duel one of those duels where they plucked their eyeballs out, or did they just shoot each other?
Oh, no, they just shot the shit out of each other.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It is still debated who shot first.
Okay.
The evidence is Hamilton was shot with a mortal wound, obviously. He died that day. And Hamilton shot a tree branch above Burr's head.
Oh, no.
The question is, did Hamilton fire first into the sky and be like, I'm willing to die for insulting you, but I'm not willing to kill you over it? Or did Burr shoot first and Hamilton was taking deadly aim, but his jerkin pain from being hit caused his shot to go wide? The eyewitness accounts differ on that point.
Okay. God, what? It's been so long since I thought about this, but I'm trying to remember what other political figures back then did the duel where they like fucking pluck their eyeballs out with like nails.
That was really popular in the South, especially what came to be like Louisiana, and it lasted there for a long time. German duelists, big on knives, which is why people from German boarding schools, you know that they were going to be something big in life if they had a giant dueling scar on their face.
Oh, man.
Which is where Blofeld from James Bond gets that, and therefore Dr. Evil.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The guy that invented a lot of the poison gases that made World War I hell had a big old dueling scar he was very proud of.
Oh, man. Huh.
So, yeah, I guess that's that topic.
Let's see. Should I tweet again just to say that we're going to be doing questions if more people want to come in?
We had plans to talk about one topic that I'm sure that will come up in the lightning round. So you tweet that out now, and we'll talk about that, and that'll give people time to think of their lightning round questions and type them to make up for the lag.
Yeah.
So, that topic is going to be Sony's news coming out that they attempted to copyright, or trademark the term Let's Play.
Yes, that's right.
So that's the news about a week and a half ago now, maybe? Sony tried to trademark the term Let's Play. They were rejected because there's an existing trademark that is very similar.
Yeah.
Some law firms, a law firm that covers video game case law, in particular, sent a brief disputing that, saying that it should be denied on the much stronger terms that Let's Play already means something in video games.
Yeah.
So while this is up in the air right now, there is a 6-month gap. We won't know until June or July whether this goes through or not.
I know there was somebody else who tried to do something really similar with Let's Play several years ago, but I can't remember what company it was. It wasn't Sony, though. But it was another gaming thing where they were trying to just grab a hold of the Let's Play phrase. But they
Let me
also
look up the
did
name
not
of the
get it.
company that holds the trademark.
Yeah.
Bum.
Oh yeah, that's right. Rooster Teeth sat on the Let's Play YouTube channel for years before they did anything with it.
Yeah. Let's Play of America, a company from Georgia, and it's LET''Z. Those are the people that stand in the way currently, unless Sony can prove, no, our claim takes precedence because they aren't actually using the name, which is true. Let's Play of America in Georgia is doing basically nothing. Now, I don't think... Well, the question is, does this mean Sony will sue you for saying, for titling your video, Let's Play Watch Dogs episode 33? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No.
That would be absurd.
I mean, just no.
And either way, it's really easy to get around because I don't even put Let's Play in the titles of any of our videos. It just says Watch Dogs.
But I mean, there are people who do, and that's what the video genre is called. So
yeah, I don't think they would be able to do that.
Even if I say just do it right now, oh wait, I did. Nike's not coming after me. If this is called Chipod Ironicast January 2016, just do it. Nike ain't gonna do shit.
Just do it.
Even though we are advertising our thing with their advertising slogan.
Just do it.
But basically, I think the only thing that I'm curious about personally, and I do support this legal brief that's like, hey, no, this is a genericized term that means other things in gaming. So thank you to that law firm. Hats off. You got my best interest in heart. But the thing I find interesting is why are they doing it, is the question.
Yeah, I wonder too. I mean, both them and Microsoft have the ability to stream straight from their consoles, but I don't know.
That's what I was thinking.
Their streaming stuff basically does, face cam on top of game. I don't know if there'd be some kind of separate functionality to make a Let's play somehow or something like that, or
right, like
if it's just a title they would want to use. Like now when you stream, you can stream just to the general Twitch, or you can stream to the Let's Play section or something.
Right, or something with an increased suite of editing tools.
Yeah,
the ability to record video and audio separately.
Yeah.
Or pipe in audio from different areas. Like they could make a very powerful suite of tools if they wanted. And that's one guess that I had for what it might be that they are planning.
Mm-hmm.
Or else maybe it's just going to be an advertising slogan that they want to trademark.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
PlayStation, let's play at our station, the station for playing.
Yeah, that could be it too, honestly. I wouldn't be too surprised with that either. Yeah, I don't know. They actually updated not a couple months ago, like a whole bunch of extra editing tools on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess you could already theoretically make a Let's Play. Although I think there is a time limit to how long the recordings can be. I'm not sure. It might be like 15-minute chunks. So we're basically back to 2009 YouTube again.
Oh, snap.
All right. Now there's where I can go and search for new Retsupre material. It's no longer YouTube. It's going to be PlayStation 4 : Let's Play. It would like go all the way back to the beginning almost of just crappy webcams in a game.
Fantastic.
And people without consumer capture devices that aren't terrible.
Anyway, so that's the news, and that's really the only thoughts I've had on that.
Yeah.
I mean, feel free to... Basically, any gaming news site you care to think of has an article on this. And that has basically all the facts as they are. It is interesting to see that Nintendo looks at Let's Plays and thinks, I want a share of that advertising money.
Yeah.
Sony looks at Let's Plays and thinks, I want that name. Give me the name.
Yeah. Although, actually, yeah, it would be some... the Reaper just pointed out in the chat, it would be weird because on a per game basis, like parts can just be censored from recording.
Right, yeah.
So that would be strange. Unless they like lift the censor or something, but I doubt that would happen. I don't know. It's weird.
All right. So, with that, feel free to fill up this YouTube chat with lightning round questions, please. Mm-hmm. I saw one that got scrolled off shortly. How much longer / shorter was Watch Dogs to record and edit compared to Metal Gear Rising or Wonderful 101? Those looked super long to edit.
I want to say Watch Dogs was probably equal in the amount of time it took to the Wonderful 101, or maybe actually a little bit longer. The issue with, Wonderful 101 and Metal Gear Rising is just that those games actually have some sort of challenge to them. So on top of, you have to record it, and on top of getting through it, I want to make sure that I get through it and it looks cool and I played through it well enough. And even there are some times where there were parts where I did really well recording it, but like the camera just wasn't positioned very well, so you couldn't really make out the cool thing I did. So I went, fuck it, I'm going to record it again. Yeah. With Watch Dogs, that's not as much of an issue because
there's nothing cool going on.
There's nothing cool going on. Like, basically, the only time I would have to re-record a part of Watch Dogs is if I really flubbed something up and it like screwed up a scripted event, and so then it didn't play right or whatever. So I had to re-record those bits. It's a hassle because the game autosaves nonstop and there's one save slot, so I have to back them up on a USB drive in my computer and then copy and paste them over and over again if I fuck up. Actually, yeah, Watch Dogs I think was going to be actually a little bit more effort because there were some things I want to show off for the LP that took forever to actually record, such as that 15-minute video that shows all the unlockable secret missions for the collectibles. That took 3.5 hours to record.
Fantastic.
For 15 minutes of footage.
Oh. All right, let's see. Question. Did you listen to any albums last year or any good music? What were some of the albums or music you enjoyed the most? I'm going to say the Hamilton cast recording. I was listening to it while putting together the notes for the middle segment.
Oh God! Is there anything?
Also, Metric had a new album come out last year that I made a point not to listen to because I have tickets for when they come to Chicago in a few weeks, and I want my first experience of the new songs to be live. I'm so excited. God, I love Metric.
For me, there hasn't been that much recently. I have been listening to a lot of Calm Trues, which is just fucking vaporwave, but it's actually decent. Not any of the new... Actually, was there... There's music I used for an LP once that's an artist I like called She. I think I listened to some of his new stuff or one of his side bands last year a lot too, but I can't remember it because it was really early in the year.
Not to be confused with She and Him, Zooey Deschanel's band.
Yeah.
Who's all right. My wife loves She and Him, actually.
Huh. Somebody asked me to make my Anamanaguchi video public again. Oh, yeah, that video. Why isn't that public? I don't remember why I made that private.
What currently announced Platinum Games title are you most excited for? Which is interesting because just yesterday there was a new one, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game.
Yeah, they still haven't officially announced it, but it's been leaked in like 5 different ways in the past couple months. I think I'm most excited for Nier Automata right now. Because... like, they're getting a ton of work now. Like, they're working on Star Fox also. But they're not entirely making Star Fox. They're working with Nintendo.
Yeah, the 3 exciting ones, it's either going to be Star Fox, Nier, or Scalebound. And we know nothing about Scalebound, so it kind of drops off the list.
There's been a little bit of gameplay footage of Scalebound, but you could tell it was really, really, really early footage because a lot of animations aren't finished or stiff, and the frame rate is pretty choppy. I'm most interested in Nier right now. I think it's really cool that they're getting a lot of work from Activision. Like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to be the 3rd game Activision is commissioned from them, essentially, for one of their licensed properties they own. I think those are cool, but they all fall into the same like Bayonetta framework, I guess. None of them are unique, but they're good. But they all had the thing where they're made quickly and cheaply, so they're short games, which is fine. And like the core gameplay is pretty good. But the levels feel kind of copy and pasted. There's always like some little side gameplay twist that isn't very good. Like in Transformers, there's the parts of the game where you play with a top-down camera angle for some reason.
Oh, nice. That sounds wonderful.
It's not great. So I'm never too excited about the Activision games that Platinum makes right now, just because there's going to be some kind of witch time. You're going to be able to parry somehow. They're all functional and good, but not like amazing to me. Whereas I'm really excited for Nier because I like Nier already, and Nier with good gameplay sounds amazing. And with that, it doesn't look like it's going to be the same Bayonetta style framework they've been using a lot recently, just because it's combining a lot of the ideas and elements that the first Nier had, which is all the bullet hell stuff. And it looks like you have like little Gradius style options that float around you that do different things. Like in some of the gameplay they showed, there's one that just hovers so you can like jump and grab onto the handle of it to like hover around and stuff like that. And also it's still supposed to be like an action RPG, so it's not just straight linear combat. So
it'll be them trying out something new, which is always fun.
Yeah, and Scalebound is definitely something new too, because it's a big RPG style thing with a dragon companion who fights with you, and it's like a multiplayer thing. I'm interested in that, but I'm not like super into it yet because I don't know too much about it, and I don't really care for the main character's design either. Like, it's not bad. It's just like, oh, he looks kind of like Dante from the Devil May Cry reboot a little. I think it's funny that he listens to dubstep, and when he puts his headphones on when he fights, you hear the dubstep.
Nice.
You're just listening to his fighting jams, and I think that's cool.
All right, we got a question here. Ironicast, who's your favorite James Bond? Roger Moore, because I'm the weirdo that loves Moonraker. It's me. I'm the one guy that really, really enjoys Moonraker.
Somebody asking me if making the Watch Dogs videos taught me anything new about editing. I learned a lot of stuff about editing while doing Watch Dogs, but I think a lot of it was actually from working at Volition. But I've learned a lot of stuff through that. If you listen to the audio mix in this LP compared to previous ones, it's a little different. The game's a little more in the forefront now, and it gets ducked less, so you can still hear it while still hearing us. That's just because I talked to some of the audio guys at Volition, and I learned a lot about how to do stuff better, and I EQ stuff now, and I'm buying a lot more good audio equipment. So yeah, I learned stuff.
Cool. Trying to see, the problem with this is YouTube's chat is really jumpy, so I don't want to skip.
Yeah,
but it means a lot of weird back and forth scrolling to find where I left off.
Here's what I got on Twitter. You guys have been doing LPs for years now. How do you feel your taste and general philosophy regarding games has changed in that time? That's from Rhinoceraptor.
I just want them to be more interesting. I don't want to... I want to be surprised, and I want games to be daring, and I don't care if they're less than 10 hours.
Yeah, that's probably one of the main things that changed for me. A lot of things I liked when I first started doing LPs are like the exact same type of things I still like, but the main thing that's changed for me is a couple of years ago, I would have been excited for pretty much any big AAA that was shown off because it's like, yeah, that looks really well polished and cool. But a lot of the time now, I think that looks like it could be cool, but I can tell it's one of those games, like a lot of games now are being designed to... They're not being designed as, here's a fun video game for you to play. It is being designed as, here's a fun video game that will be your only video game you'll need for the year 2016.
Yeah.
Because they're all vying for you to be obsessed with them so that you spend more time with them than if they have microtransactions, you might spend more money on them. And also just because there's a lot of people who have that dollar to hour value, where I don't care how long the game is. I actually prefer games if they're not absurdly long for the most part now. Like 8 to 15 hours is a nice sweet spot for me.
What does Aiden do on the internet? I bet he has a Twitter. I think he reposts a lot of Ron Paul memes. He really wants people to Google Ron Paul, and he hacks people's bank accounts so he can donate their money to GoFundMes for cops that have been suspended for shooting minorities.
Damn.
That's what Aiden does on the internet.
Damn. There's a deep cut on Aiden Pierce.
What do you think?
What does Aiden do on the internet? I think he goes to 9gag a lot to learn what the hot new memes from 3 years ago were.
Yeah.
Because he really wants to fit in. I mean, if he's hacking, like he's got to know what the internet's all about, right?
Would you smooch a ghost? I would not, you homewrecker. Would you smooch a ghost?
I mean, there's so many things a ghost can be. Like, ghost is just a...
Would you smooch a hot ghost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, being a ghost is just a state of being. It's not... Unless it's like, oh, I am ghost now, and it means you are a white sheet ghost, and that is what happens when you are ghost. But otherwise, like a hot ghost, yeah.
What is your favorite Star Wars species?
Oh, that's hard.
Okay.
I don't know the name of the species, but I also don't remember her name. But the lady who was in charge of the bar in The Force Awakens, wherever she is, I like that.
I don't know if her species has been named. It certainly wasn't in the film.
Yeah.
There have been tie-in novellas about her and four people in the bar.
Yeah.
Already, so it might be mentioned in those.
Whatever she is, I like that.
Okay.
I think it's cool.
I'm going to go and say the Kushiban, which are a species of furry bunny rodent-like creatures that have mood-changing color fur.
Whoa.
And they have evolved to intelligence, but they do not use tools, which makes no sense. And so I love the Kushiban.
Kushiban.
Are you guys going to LP Mega Man Legends 2? Maybe eventually, but it's not next.
Yeah, it's not next, but yeah, I want to do it at some point.
I am trying my hand at getting into making video games, starting with a simple platformer. Any advice?
I've tried doing this game stuff multiple times. I've seen lots of good advice, but I just don't have the time to like invest into that stuff at all right now. Make sure you make attainable goals. Keep the game simple because it's the first one you're doing. And there's usually one other good thing. Oh, even if it's not like, don't be worried about making it a finished, completed thing. You know, you work on it for a while and maybe you get tired of it and then you go to work on another project. Like, that's fine. It's just like a stepping stone.
Because you're developing skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether like, you hit the end or not, you've learned.
Yeah. You've learned, as long as you learn something from that thing, like, it's useful.
I'm going to say make the game that seems like it's suited just to you personally, because you're less alone than you think you are. Yeah. And that means you're definitely getting your unique perspective in there. Yeah,
just make the game you want and don't go like, oh man, I can't wait to make my epic crafting game roguelike with multiple playable characters, and also it's a MOBA.
What happened to Blip Theater? Blip died. The end.
Blip died. Like, I think they also might be talking about the fact that the videos are down right now because apparently like a lot of them got copyright claimed.
Well,
and I didn't know it. So I have to
blame
re-upload
Sony
them
right there. Yeah,
I have to re-upload them to our own hosting.
Okay.
Yeah. I still have them though. Don't worry, I haven't lost any of the Blip Theater videos. They are precious to me and I will never lose them.
How many pickles is 2 pickles? I would say 1 pickle. Not that I don't like pickles, I just like pickle. A whole pickle is too much pickle for me. They're an ingredient, not a side dish.
I don't even like pickles, so no pickles for me, man.
In the unlikely event that you'd LP a racing game, how would you keep it interesting?
Well, that's actually an interesting question because I did buy a racing game recently I want to do something with. Specifically, it is called, what is it called, actually? The acronym of the game is FART.
Okay.
It was $1.50 at GameStop.
Afterburn Racing Times. Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite game.
Yep. It's like farm animal racing something.
What?
Yeah. You never saw me tweet that. There's the cover art of the box. It's a Wii game, Wii exclusive.
Of course it is.
And it's just like this really awful CG pig driving a tractor. It's amazing looking.
I would do episode 1 Racer and fill the whole thing with awful extended universe knowledge dumps.
Like that one dude who has lightsabers coming out of his elbows and knees.
Well, no, my favorite Jedi Master from episode 1 is the one who has like a dozen wives that have been approved by the rest of the council because his species is endangered.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Also, he has 2 hearts. One of them is in his head.
Oh, all right.
How do you think Watch Dogs 2 will turn out? You may not have been here for the first topic, but we did talk about that in detail.
Yeah.
How should Aiden die in the sequel, though? That's a question I don't think we touched on. I think it is likely he'll be dead, but I think he's going to be hunted down and killed by the man. How he should die is of old age, all alone, unloved.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No, that's basically the perfect way for Aiden Pierce to die.
What are your favorite point-and-click games and why?
I haven't played through the whole thing. By what I have played so far, I really, really, really like Grim Fandango. Mm-hmm. It's maybe not the puzzles themselves because they're kind of obnoxious sometimes, but the writing and the art direction, the setting, and the voice acting, it's all really good. I
bought that in the Steam sale, so I'll try it out
really
eventually.
Good.
Yeah.
Do not be afraid to look up walkthroughs to that game because sometimes it's not just puzzles where it's like I don't know what to do, I don't know what item to rub onto this thing. It's like it's this thing where you understand what the problem is. You have an idea in your head of what the solution is. You try the solution and then it looks like it works and it goes, oh, it didn't work because there's an extra leap of logic you have to take to go like, oh, it works like this, but what if it was like this instead?
Interesting.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, it's just things where it gets a little more complex than you expect in a way where it's like you need a team of maybe like 3 people all thinking about it to piece the whole thing together sometimes. It only happens every once in a while, but when it does, it can be a little irritating.
Will you do any Volition games in the name of properly selling out? I know we don't announce things too far in advance, and we certainly don't have any planned, but the question I'd like to turn that into is, would that be a conflict of interest? Would you be allowed to if you wanted to?
I've actually talked about this at work forever ago. I forget entirely what was said, but I would, if there were... I would probably not stream any Volition games here unless they were old ones, you know? You know, so it's like, okay, here's a really old Saints Row or something. But, like, that probably won't happen here anyways because all those games I stream at work, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Again,
if anybody isn't aware, every Thursday afternoon, you can watch him and a rotating cast of Volition staff play some game or another.
Yeah, sometimes it's other games. Sometimes we play Volition's own games. Next, it's twitch.tv/dsvolition every 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Thursdays. Next week, we're just going to be doing Saints Row 2, but one of the guys who works there is what a lot of people know, Idle Ninja. He's the dude who made the mod for the Saints Row 2 PC port that fixes a lot of it. He's just going to be showing off mods and stuff for Saints Row 2 next week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have there been any more out there ideas for LPs or similar projects that didn't pan out? I can't think of one, except to say that the weird blip mocking stuff we did for Uncharted 2, it was planned to go longer and weirder, and then we just scaled it back a lot, and it turned into something else entirely.
Yeah, we made it like separate videos and stuff.
Yeah.
It was an idea I liked, but also one other people... that was probably too intrusive at the start. Although I will say there is one joke I really liked, and that was adding in the arrow pointing where to go that then turned into the Logitech logo.
Yeah, that was the best. That was the best.
I really enjoy the Logitech logo. I still enjoy some of the other stuff that came out of that, like the YouTuber video thing I did, where I was really desperate for views. I forget what I called that. I don't entirely remember it. It's been so long.
Yeah. Can Hank the Chog cameo in one of the games I want to work on?
Yeah, totally.
All right, there you go.
Just use Hank the Chog. Just use Hank the Chog in the way Dopefish is used, you know? just have him hiding somewhere. Just on a wall.
Oh, or the amiibo content for Toad's Treasure Tracker. Just a tiny little Hank, on the wall of every level.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants to use Hank the Chog in a dumb thing, I don't care. Go ahead.
Are you excited for any upcoming video game films? Ratchet and Clank, Assassin's Creed, etc.
I'm actually interested in the Ratchet and Clank film.
Yeah.
I think it looks cute.
I'm more interested in the tie-in game they're making for the movie.
Yeah, I mean the game also looks really good. I'm really curious. One thing I am curious about, because the game comes out first, I believe, like a week or so before the movie. I don't know if the cutscenes in the game are straight up just what's used for the movie, because they look really nice, the cutscenes, but I don't know if they're real time or not. Or pre-rendered, just taken from the movie. So I'm really curious, like, if I play the game first, like, do I even want to see the movie? Like, will I have already seen large chunks of it?
Yeah. Will you be at C2E2 again? I will be attending as a guest capacity in a just as an attendee, and probably tweeting out, be like, hey, if you want to meet me, I'm getting chicken fingers, sort of thing.
I want to go so I can hang out with you guys. I don't know if I'll be able to.
Yeah.
Just because I used up like all my vacation time for Christmas and all that. But it would be nice if I can go.
Yeah, it would be super nice.
I also need good furniture and the closest, furniture that will fill the giant gaps in my apartment that will be stable enough for at least a couple of years. And the closest IKEA is more closer to Chicago than here, so...
Yeah, I mean, they do ship.
They do, but it's really expensive shipping because they don't their shipping doesn't change based on what you're ordering. It's just a fixed rate. So it's like, it's really good if you're ordering like an entire living room set, but if you just need like 2 things, it's still like $250.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So yeah, probably. We didn't apply again this year for any programming, so not in that capacity, but
I want to do that again sometime though. It was fun.
I've said this before, but I think the problem with that is because it was it's such a general interest show, we did a very general thing. And if we did it again, like, what's the next thing to say? How do we drill deeper for that audience?
Right.
Which is why I'd want it to be a more focused, like a gaming convention of some kind.
Yeah.
John Cusack is the most recently announced guest.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why they couldn't get Joan Cusack, the superior Cusack, but whatever. I mean, she spends a lot of time in the city filming for Shameless, so come on, just get Joan.
Yeah.
Grosse Pointe Blank's a good movie, whatever. Here's one specifically for me. What is my favorite system for tabletop RPGs? And that's a hard question. Because, I mean, it depends on what sort of experience you want. I talked a lot last month about Worldwide Wrestling, my game of the year, and why I enjoy it quite a bit. So I guess that's probably still my favorite right now, but I've had so much fun wringing every bit of content out of 13th Age for the LP13A campaign. It's hard to say. Sometimes I want that D20 itch, and sometimes I want to, I don't know, be a adorable Japanese dog spirit. Whatever. So yeah, my favorite system is definitely Golden Sky Stories. Check it out.
What does the NX have to do to survive console competition? Would the features in the Wii U be a positive influence to the NX?
It needs to have exclusive games that everyone's excited about playing and come out at a reasonable price point, same as every other console.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, the rumors of it being like some kind of hybrid thing sounds really cool to me personally. Like, I mean, it would be a smart thing because they have a handheld and a console that they have to make completely separate games for, and if they could just make all the games for like one platform that is both console and portable, that would be pretty cool and a smart thing to do. I don't know. I'm just excited for the NX. I don't know. I'm always excited for Nintendo stuff. Just knowing what it is exciting.
Yeah, that's the real curious thing right now. What the heck is it? Looking at the new games coming this year, are you excited for an upcoming title, and would you LP it? I don't know. Saying what big thing's gonna come out this year is really hard in January because delays come early and often.
Yeah, I'm okay. Here's the most obligatory one: Uncharted 4.
Yeah, it has to finally come out this year. Come on.
Yeah, it's coming out in April.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah, I think it comes out in April. So does Ratchet and Clank.
And would you LP Uncharted 4?
Yeah.
Oh,
also, so does Dark Souls 3. That's April too, I think. Holy crap!
Any of those 3, I think, would be good candidates for a future LP for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Ratchet and Clank, especially. I just streamed it, man.
Looking back to Hamilton Chat, how much of an impact, if any, would something that popular having an all-minority cast have on the gaming industry? Or are we still stuck with white dudes? On the gaming industry, I don't think there's a lot of cross-pollination between major musicals and gaming. So, basically none. In theater, I think it will. Now, if you're not aware, Hamilton is a musical that draws quite a bit from rap, as well as R&B. Aaron Burr basically communicates exclusively in R&B. Thomas Jefferson's introductory number is a very boogie-woogie thing, kind of Little Richard inspired. It's great.
Yeah.
But it's also an all-minority cast. There are none of the main characters are white men. Or white women, actually, come to think of it.
All right.
So there you go. One thing that's been the most interesting thing I've seen, at least in soundbite terms about that, is a Twitter-length review saying it felt great to not be the only black person in the theater, just the only one in the audience. So, like we've talked about with games, with every mass media, it's a capitalist enterprise, It has to come from either the creative or the consumer to pull the other one. Yeah. So I think it will cause change in theater, but I don't see it crossing the theater gaming gap because there is no bridge there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Waiting for Godot, the game, but that's a joke flash game and not an actual release. Any comments on O'Hare Airport? I was in Chicago a few days ago, but it was only an hour layover in O'Hare. O'Hare is among the busiest airports in the country, so that's cool. As far as I know, it's not haunted. I've only been in the American terminal, so I don't have that big of a breadth of knowledge to talk about O'Hare Airport. Ironicast, go ahead.
I like the part in O'Hare Airport, the hallway that's all lit up. That's pretty.
Oh, yeah. I like the one moving walkway between the train stop and the actual terminals, because you go by really fast, and on the wall is a bunch of Hubble pictures sponsored by the planetarium. So it's like you're moving at light speed.
Yeah. The other thing I could say about O'Hare is it's very big and my legs get tired.
Yeah, it's flippin' huge.
Every time I've been in O'Hare and I have to get to the connecting flight there, it's like a decent 15, 20-minute jog. And the worst I've ever had it there, the connecting flight was nearly a mile away.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I was going from like basically one end to the other.
Ironicast, are you familiar with Atlas Games' Feng Shui RPG by Robin D. Laws? And if so, what do you think of it? I am dying for a chance to play it for feats. Feng Shui 2, at least. I backed it on Kickstarter, and when I had the fan meetup at ValorCon, one of our lovely people gave me a present of Feng Shui 2 in print, which is just a wonderful, wonderful gift. So nice. I want to get some kick-ass Hong Kong Kung Fu action role-playing on, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet. Here's a fun question. Was there any part of Watch Dogs you consider to be in any way good?
Spider-Bot game.
Spider Tank. The final digital trip we haven't shown off yet.
Ah, yes.
At least in posted videos. That's a good one.
I love that one.
No, I mean, there are good concepts, and I think having a game about privatized, the surveillance state, but privatized, that's an interesting thing, and there's a lot to say about that. Cool. And if you wanted to say it in a game, that'd be great. But instead, you get the confusion of who is Aiden Pierce.
Yeah,
and
the main conflict is
you look at grandmas yell at people. That's not...
Yeah, the main conflict of the game is completely removed from the whole interesting setting thing. Also, I like... I wish more was done with it, but I do like being able to see the names and like a little tidbit about every single NPC, even though it's random. Just because of the weird combinations it does a lot of the time. It does make you... Like, even if you read it, it's like, haha, what? It does make you, like, imagine, like, that NPC has some kind of backstory. And if they went further with that, that's a cool way to make NPCs not just be decorations and make them feel more humanized and like, oh, there are all these other living characters in this game.
It is a good way...
This game doesn't focus on them, but they're there.
It's also a good way to drive that surveillance thing. Like, do you have a right to know this? Who gave you the right to know this?
Yeah. Like, even those privacy invasions in the game could have been really cool, you know?
Lightning round. How do you feel about video game characters promoting clothing lines? I see what you did there.
I thought that was really... I thought that whole lightning in the clothing line promotion thing was really weird, but I kind of liked it because it reminded me of the games D and D2. Because those games had the same protagonist. The guy who made D and D2 basically came up with the idea of a virtual actress. So you come up with this
then inspired Swery, who went on to use the same ideas, including in D4.
Yeah, so you have a virtual actor who then plays the roles of multiple different protagonists in different games. And seeing Lightning used like that kind of felt like, oh, Lightning is just an actor who portrays Lightning in all these games. Like, because they were just like they had an interview with her, like she was real. That was so strange, but I kind of like that idea of like a virtual actress or whatever. That's weird.
If corporations can become people, and if Hatsune Miku can perform on Letterman, then Lightning can model clothes.
Exactly, yeah.
Welcome to the future. It's kind of awesome. And
it's the future. Isn't that weird?
It's the scary kind of awesome. Just live with it. What's your favorite one-liner from the MGS franchise? I killed my soul. I took it. You can't.
I killed my soul. It's that.
Okay,
it's that. I killed my soul. There's lots of good ones, but I killed my soul resonates with me for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, where's your Keyblade?
Oh, I still have it. It's in my closet.
Any TV shows you saw for 2015 that you really enjoyed? Anything you're looking forward to in 2016? My big two, I honestly already mentioned over... Well, my big three already came up in the show. Fargo, Mr. Robot, and Doctor Who. We've had a fantastic 3 years that's really revitalized. I've mentioned this before, but I'm all about the TARDIS team again because they did good things from where I'm sitting.
For me, I didn't start watching two of these until this year, but they came out last year. I mentioned one of them already, One Punch Man. One Punch Man is great. Also, I watched Making a Murderer. I thought that was pretty damn interesting. Mm-hmm. Everybody was talking about that. And also, I just started watching Jessica Jones because people keep recommending me that. I've only seen the first episode, but I kind of liked it.
Any new special features like the Chicago History series for future Let's Plays from you guys? I'd say almost definitely. I just have no idea what they are.
Yeah, no idea yet, but I really like doing stuff like that, and I hope to do it more often.
We love doing side content, bonus stuff, increasing your value, but it always goes along with the game, and I don't know what would really fit with the next game we're doing.
Oh, no, actually, I suggested something for the next big LP.
Oh, well, please remind me, and maybe we'll do it. I hope we do it, because it's fun to do those things.
Yeah, I'll mention it later, yeah.
Okay. Are you scared of getting blocked by Kamiya on Twitter?
No, I never tweet at him because I have nothing worthwhile to say to him. If I did, I probably wouldn't get blocked.
What would the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game rename Red Hot Kick to?
Oh, man. Cowabunga Kick. I don't know.
Cowabunga Kick would be good. I was thinking Red Pepper Flake.
That one's pretty good.
Someone in the chat did mention Green Hot Kick.
Green Hot Kick.
It's pretty good.
That works. Another scroll thing because it just loaded a whole bunch more. Oh, no. Any plans for a future co-op game again, like Lego Star Wars?
It's more possible now than it was before.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, I guess we technically have a co-op thing coming up. That's The Fight. It's only 2 videos, but...
It's really good.
That was competitive. And yeah, it was really good. No, that wasn't competitive. The Fight is interpretive.
Yeah. That's
what The Fight is.
God, it's great. I feel bad for hyping it up so much, but I cannot hype it too much. It is that good. Please trust me. Please believe me.
It's really something special.
Okay. Bum, bum, bum.
Somebody has asked me about 3 times, and I keep forgetting to answer it. What do I eat or snack on when I'm editing LPs? Surprise, it's pizza. Also, somebody asking when is the fight coming out. If you missed it, the next thing coming out regularly after Watch Dogs is done is Drunk Metal Gear History. So there are 5 more videos, I believe, 4 or 5, and then after that, it'll be the fight. Then after that, the next big LP.
Does Chip join Ironicus in tabletop games, or are those interests separate? Yeah, you were on one of our feats games. It was called Danger Patrol, and you played the
Spectral Sleuth.
The Spectral Sleuth, yes.
I was a ghost detective. That was fun. I like that.
It was great, and I didn't run that one.
As a ghost, I jumped into a missile so I could pull out its insides.
It was great.
Yeah.
Have either of you seen the movie Toys? I don't think I've ever seen the movie Toys.
Oh, God, I've seen small bits of Toys. I just remember seeing the video game for it at the rental store all the time. At the family video when I was a kid.
Do you think... Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you think Kojima is just going to make a Sony-branded MGS or try to branch out with something new? Like, I'm guessing this question is like a Mighty Number 9 style.
Right. Because that's happened multiple times now.
Yeah. I don't see it. I honestly don't.
Yeah. I don't think it'll happen, at least not the first game that he's working on. I would really enjoy it if he just continued.
How many times has he tried leaving the Metal Gear well, being brought back to it and thinking, well, I can use it to tell this one more story, I guess.
Yeah. I see him doing something at least a little different. I honestly have no idea what he will actually do. I can't even, guess. I hope that he still has a bug for doing something horror-related, because the little bit he did for PT was really cool. Obviously, Del Toro was there for that, too, but it was really cool and really different, and I hope he does something like that, or at least something kind of like an adventure game. Like a successor to what the Snatcher and Police Snot style stuff is. Maybe he wants to make his own Heavy Rain. I don't know. Yeah.
Here's what I think. If Kojima wants to do MGS again, I think he'll do whatever it takes to actually get the license again, because he'll want to do it with the same characters, the same canon. He will not make knockoff MGS. He'll either just stop doing stealth action, or he will find a way to have the actual license again.
What if Sony gave him the license to Siphon Filter?
I don't know, man. It depends.
That'd be weird.
That would be weird. Would he feel pigeonholed and bucket, or would he be like, well, this is what I do, and make Siphon Filter cool? I don't know. I think it'd be the former. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum. I want a Fiddler on the Roof character action game. Yeah, me too.
God, that's right. I actually did see Fiddler on the Roof once, but I was like 14, so I didn't appreciate it at the time. Whoops. I also remember I was eating cheesecake at the same time.
Oh, it was that dinner theater on the school trip to Washington. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, it was.
I was there.
Mm-hmm. Did you have the cheesecake? It was bad.
I do not remember what dessert. I don't remember any of the food. I just know I was there. Okay. And it was in the round.
Yeah. I don't remember any of the other food, just that cheesecake, and thinking, wow, this is really bad.
How did the two of you meet? Here we go.
Physics class.
I mean, we went to the same very small school, so we were aware of each other and we knew each other, but we didn't start hanging out, talking, or being friends until, for me, it was 10th grade and your freshman year.
Was it? I thought it was
Or no, yeah, it was
it was your senior year.
No, it was my junior year, and you're.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I spent that 1 year in Fowlerville instead, and then I came back.
Yeah. It was physics class.
We
got grouped together.
Lab partner buddies.
We had to make one of those bottle boats or whatever.
Yeah, we had the best design, but it just didn't work.
It was a dual engine design, but it just wasn't sealed well enough.
It was a catamaran, basically.
It was a catamaran.
It was the most stable one. It was perfect. I stand by that idea to this day.
Yeah. Here's some side content. Let's remake that fucking engine.
Hell
yes. Make it work.
Do you remember the other two projects we had?
Oh, one was dropping the egg from the
and
top of a
neither
really
of us
tall
wanted
ladder.
to do it, so we just bought a bag of marshmallows.
we dropped the egg and it missed the marshmallows. And then you put 9 marshmallows in your mouth and swallowed one.
And then I ate the whole bag in a day, and I was very upset about it by the end.
Yeah, you were crying, but your mouth was full of marshmallows, and you couldn't close your mouth because there were too many marshmallows.
One got swallowed whole in the back. It got shoved all the way down.
Yeah.
But the other project, the one we actually won, was we had to get a helium balloon to have zero buoyancy, to just hang in the air and not move. By weighing it down with a manila folder.
Yeah, I remember that.
And everybody was trying to... it was supposed to be a thing about density, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody was like measuring the thickness of their manila folder to get height times width times depth. When that's fucking stupid, because the manila folder is too thin to measure reliably with a ruler.
Yeah.
And it's of constant thickness, so you can just express it as a ratio of height to width.
Yeah.
So we were the only people. We super won. We killed it. I think the last bit of ballast we added was you drew a walrus on it.
I did.
And
I drew a walrus.
It was a lucky
on the
walrus,
folder,
so we won that competition.
I was drawing lots of walruses that year, and I don't remember why. It was a good walrus, though. He helped us win.
Is Command and Conquer a possible LP? I don't think so.
No, I've never been out of all the genres. Like RTS is really low for me. It's just one I don't play and don't have much interest in for the most part. Unless it was really anime, then I would probably play it. But not anime like StarCraft. That's bad anime.
Favorite privacy invasion event in Watch Dogs? Mine is still Papa Seaman Hands. I stand by that. Did you give a favorite privacy invasion?
I didn't.
Here's some contenders. The Geordie one.
Yeah, Geordie's really, really good. It might be Geordie for me.
The two grandmas.
Yeah. The racist grandma.
Racist grandma and can't work computers grandma with the mouth that doesn't match up to her skeleton.
You know what? It's can't work computers grandma.
Yeah.
She's my favorite privacy invasion.
Okay, there you go.
Her face looks like somebody's blowing a blow dryer right into her mouth at all times. It's like she's on a roller coaster going downhill really fast. That's the grandma I'm into.
Cool.
There's one other question from Crunky Bars. Is there any LP either of us would like to redo?
If I could just like snap my fingers and make it be redone, then yes, Spider-Man. But if I have to actually go back and do the game again, no. Because, I mean, it's all... If I could do it again for the first time, I don't think Spider-Man stands.
But
I don't think doing it again would make it any better. It'd just be like a weird memory lane thing.
The only one I would ever do again is Beyond Good and Evil, and only if Beyond Good and Evil 2 was officially announced and was definitely coming out. That's the only thing I would redo, I think.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Beyond Good and Evil. Saving the pig. Carlson and Peters. That's what I'm getting tattooed on my arm next week.
Nice.
Carlson and Peters. It's also what I hold up at signs at wrestling events. And nobody knows what I'm talking about.
It's okay. It's okay.
I think that's most of the questions.
Yeah, I think we caught up to the present.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite Wonderful one?
Red.
All right.
It's just Red.
Yeah, I'm going to say Wonder Red.
I like
of
his
the
character.
main cast, definitely Wonder Red.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Not Wonder White, though.
Where in the world is Ironicast San Diego? I'm
Right
in Chicago, specifically somewhere near the South Loop. I'm in my home. Who is San Diego? Who the hell is San Diego?
Which Wonder Red? Just Red.
Red.
Not Old Red.
Is Nikki?
This is a long podcast.
Nikki
Damn.
ever coming back?
She's never coming
She's
back.
never coming back. All right. So as the questions seem to have petered out, thank you all, live studio audience, for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you all, podcast audience, for tuning in once again. We'll see you again in next January for another lightning round. But in the meantime, you can always send maybe meteor questions for a full segment length discussion to
chipcheesem@chipandironicast.com.
Thank you very much. And once again, if you would like to be in the live studio audience every single month, not just our January lightning round edition, you can check out our Patreon and become a backer there and get that privilege. You get the secret info. You get the podcast as it's happening instead of a couple days afterwards.
Yeah.
As well as supporting us in our year and in our efforts. It really has helped a lot. You mentioned last month you were thinking of writing up a thing on all the things Patreon's been allowed us to do. That doesn't exist yet, but do you mind just sharing a few bullet points?
Yeah, so on top of like the stuff that was listed in the actual Patreon, the main things it's gotten so far is it's gotten some new capture equipment because there were lots of issues with Elgato's drivers, and I had to spend a fair amount of time shopping around to finding one that's actually good. So now we have a capture card that has no lag on it. So
thank you for buying us a lagless capture card.
So now when I stream, I can actually send the exact same video feed to people through Skype video, and they can react at the same time, so there's no weird, awkward delay. That's very nice. That also means we could potentially record live LPs, because I can just beam him the video much better than when we did for No More Heroes 2. That had an awful delay on it. It's bought or is going to be buying some new audio equipment, specifically some new microphones, some mic stands, some pop filters, some focus rights, so that we can actually capture the audio from it, because these microphones are XLR microphones and they either need some kind of preamp or, computers don't have XLR plugs on them.
Yeah, I'm currently using a mic that was paid for by the 6 Feet Under Patreon.
Yeah. We will be having the same mic on mic stands, so we should sound pretty much the same. That'll also help me time-wise with editing, because then it's a lot easier to clean everything up, and I don't have to do as much work to make things sound kind of consistent, or as close as I can. It's bought a whole bunch of random games. Specifically, I have a whole bunch of weird, shitty PS2 games I found, as well as a couple other things I haven't announced yet. It's also going to be buying later on a hardware scaler, so that I can actually capture old consoles, because a lot of modern capture hardware cannot capture older consoles, either just because it doesn't pick up the resolution, or because old consoles displayed at weird, not standard resolutions that lots of things don't acknowledge as being real.
So basically, you're helping us invest back in the show, getting more variety, more flexibility, and we're able to put more of our time into the show, bringing you things that we honestly couldn't without you.
Yeah. Also, lots of extra storage, because we have a lot of Let's Plays and a lot of videos, and I was running out of space. And I need to make sure I can actually archive them in a way where we can keep them for a long time.
So if you like this aspect of what we've been allowed to do thanks to your kind generosity, why don't you tell people about it? Word of mouth is how people find us and enjoy us and get to learn about early American history and bad American video games. And also, you can help us get discovered by complete strangers by giving us 5-star reviews and other fine things on iTunes and the podcatcher of your choice.
Oh, another thing that'll be happening is I'll probably at some point make tutorial videos on how to get started editing all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And some good tricks and all that. That's another thing I want to do down the line. So that's another thing.
So once again, next month, the February cast will be a standard cast. And I want you fine folks to tell me, do you want to learn about Chicago Gangland, the 1933 Chicago World's Fair, or Mayor Daley the First and everything that exploded in the late 60s around here?
Yeah. And somebody's asking, what capture card do I have? I have an Elgato HD 60 Pro, which is an internal capture card and not one of the little USB things that lots of people use. They're a little more of a hassle, but they're pretty nice.
All right, great. And with that, I think that's all we have to say. Thanks again, though.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody.